There's something to be said for toughness, resiliency, and playing as a team when you're talking about championship DNA. We sometimes get enamored with the flash and swag and forget what really separates teams in games that are decided by inches. In layman's terms, to quote Remember the Titans, attitude reflects leadership. Last night was the biggest compliment that Celtics head coach Ime Udoka could have possibly received. His ball club once again got off the mat in a situation where it was starting to look bleak. The Warriors have made a living by running the third quarter up, then running away from teams in the fourth. And for a moment, it looked like that was going to be the story of Game 1. But the NBA's version of Rocky Balboa wasn't down for the count just yet. Just like when they bounced back to take out Giannis and the Bucks, or when they scraped back to win a Game 7 in Miami to clinch the Eastern Conference. Boston answers the bell. This team understands that their strength is not in the individual, but in the collective. Jason Tatum didn't have his A game last night, but Horford, White, Brown in the group helped will the Celtics to a huge Game 1 dub after raining enough threes to literally blot out the sun. Now, will the Celtics continue to shoot with Hawkeye-like accuracy across the board? Probably not. But on the other hand, will Jason Tatum continue to struggle like that consistently? Probably not. The Celtics just had to find a way to win, like they've done since the regular season. Some teams just understand the grind and realize that if you take a little bit out of them in the first, a little bit out of them in the second, and a little bit more in the third, in the fourth, you can own them. I told you a couple days ago I love the grittiness and the perseverance of this Celtics team, and that was on full display last night. Can they keep it up? Who knows with the craziness in these playoffs, but I would caution betting against Rocky in the final rounds of the fight. I'm going to bring in Blaine and David. Guys, hell of a game last night. Warriors did their thing in the third, just like what we've seen. But the Celtics...
You're trying to make me mad today.
...continue to jump off the mat because that is who this team is. And look, I know what you're going to say. It was an anomaly from the three-pointer. Al Horford's never going to shoot like that again. Derek White's never going to shoot like that again. Marcus Smart's probably not going to shoot like that again, let alone combine. And I get it. But haven't we always said what makes the Celtics dangerous is that they can win in multiple ways? And that was on display.
Two things. First thing, it's Flaming Dragon. It's Friday.
Oh, man.
So let's go. Not a great way to start.
I got you, Flaming Dragon. Won't happen again.
And what Rocky movie are we talking about here? Because I feel like are we talking Ivan against Rocky? Because this was a pick'em series.
Wait, no.
The separation of the gap between Rocky winning that fight against Ivan and the Celtics winning the series against the Warriors are hugely, just so different.
Well, everybody picked the Warriors.
You're pumping up this gap difference a lot bigger.
Well, everybody picked the Warriors. Everybody on NBA Countdown picked the Warriors. Y'all both picked the Warriors.
Like the odds were basically a pick'em in this series. And even ESPN had the Warriors winning 86% chance of winning this series. Will anybody be surprised, realistically?
They gave the Warriors an 86% chance of winning the series?
The Celtics.
You said the Warriors.
No, they gave the Celtics an 86% chance.
Well, that's amazing because everybody picked the Warriors.
Well, that's some of the public, but like
some of the public.
It's plus
Wilbon?
100. Yes,
Them.
It's plus 100. It's a pick'em series. Like the gap difference is not as big as you're making it out to be. I don't think.
Okay, I'm just going off what everybody's saying.
Picked them in the series.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they've won one game.
Oh yeah.
So
they played one game.
Okay. Yeah.
We're 1 for 1. That's the way I see it.
Well,
and look, the theory is going to get tested game 2. We all know that. That's what I'm going back and forth on. The Warriors, it's a must-win in game 2.
Yeah, you go
wrap
to
this
it's
up
done.
and put it under the tree.
I don't even think it's a must-win.
You don't think it's a must-win? You don't
because
think
Boston hasn't been holding home court advantage. I mean, this is a very impressive win for them. I'm not surprised that Boston won the first game. I am surprised the way they won it.
True.
First game in first team in NBA Finals history to trail by double digits going into the fourth and then win the game by double digits. That was pretty phenomenal. And as far as they won't shoot like that again, I mean, look, Jason Tatum's not going to shoot that badly again either. So,
exactly.
1 for 1 there, even though Horford may not put up 26 points again. But just like I was telling Ben, Horford's contributions don't necessarily need to come from the three-pointer. I mean, that was amazing, but it's his maturity and it's his leadership down low when you're having to deal with a front court that has Draymond Green in it that is so impressive to me.
Yeah.
And Draymond and K, will say, speaking of Draymond, him and Looney combined for 8 points last night. And there was a point where the Celtics were getting out-rebounded by the Warriors, which really surprised me, but you saw that flip. But look, I mean, Boston was making shots, man.
It's hard to beat a team that shoots over 50% from three.
Yeah.
I mean, the Warriors shot 42% and lost. What scares me about this, and literally what I said to me, it was about experience, all right? What scares me about this game is exactly what you said, David. The way they lost this game, they got beat 40-16 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
With the experience, and I lean on experience, especially in finals matches. If you won a championship, you just built a little bit different. I know the hunger might be different, but still, Steph and these guys want to win. But you got beat 40-16 in the fourth quarter. You're up 11. I said that the Warriors is one team I kind of feel comfortable about holding a lead, and that's the Warriors. Maybe if it was on the road, I'd feel a lot better about it. But this was at home. Yeah. This was at home, and they got mopped in the fourth.
Well, that should be a cause for concern. But also, this is the same Warriors team that did lose by 50 to a Mavs team, right? Or to the Grizz. To the Grizz, yeah. And when we're talking about people who underperformed, who won't consistently underperform, we have to put Jordan Poole on that list, too. I don't think he's going to shoot that poorly.
Minus
his defense was just as bad as
But here's the thing with the Celtics. To win the series, because Golden State's going to have 4 games at home, Boston's going to have 3. It was mandatory to win one on the road to even win the series.
True.
Plus, I still don't think Boston's going to hold home court advantage 100%, which means you'd have to win 2, and that's if Boston wins 2 of their 3. So I still think they're going to need to figure out a way to get another one on the road. Look, I just see the series being 2-all at the end of 4, and then it's a best of 3.
It's going 7.
You think it's going 7?
I think it is.
I still got the Celtics in 6.
I think it's going 7.
I do want to say this. What do you think was more valuable to the Celtics last night? And this may be kind of parsing hairs. I don't want to get to the Booster Club. We're just on the YouTube branch today doing some maintenance on the Daily Wire chat. It's all one Booster Club. What was more important to the Celtics last night? Al Horford's contribution throughout the whole game or Jaylen Brown in the fourth quarter? Even Al Horford after the game talked about how important Jaylen Brown in that in that fourth quarter, getting them going because they were down. I mean, he scored. I mean, he had how many points in the fourth quarter? I mean, he had what, 18, something like that?
Yeah, he had a big fourth quarter, but I would say Al Horford. Al Horford was hitting huge shots in huge moments. I believe he hits the 3. I think he hit multiple 3s in a row, one to tie it up and one to put him in the lead.
We actually have a clip, and I think he hit the last field goal.
And White off the bench. Like these guys were both raining from 3s. I'm telling you, if the Celtics, any team, realistically, shoot more than 50% from 3, you're gonna lose.
Let's go ahead and roll the clip. We got it right here. It's just one of the many barrage 3s last night. Derek White's gonna drive, kick it to the corner for Pritchard. He's gonna dish it to Al. I'm not a Horford, and it's a splash session. Get the towel, tell your mom to pick you up, put your floaties on. Al's going swimming. It was like that the whole game. You're seeing Tatum work here against a triple team, a little mid-range. It's just pure. But you know what's funny? We talk about Al Horford and championship experience. I watched this dude ball out for Florida to win the national championship twice when it was him, Joakim Noah, and the boys. And that's him working down low. Thanks for fouling out, Draymond, with 20 assists, rebounds, and points when I had you over 21.5. You missed 2.
If there's one guy I trust, even if he hasn't been to a finals, there's probably a lot of things like I would trust Al Horford with. But my taxes.
Yeah.
You know?
Like Tim Duncan vibes.
Yeah, just like what has Al ever done anything wrong in his life? And that team he was at Florida was savagery.
It was ridiculous.
They were mopping kids.
You can't go back to back unless you have some savagery.
Yeah, basketball doesn't exactly work like that. Blaine, what's the Booster Club say before I absolutely roast Stephen A. Smith in a second?
Okay, 1, the jacket is fire, guys. I know. Thank you.
It's D's.
I appreciate
it.
The boys are hot.
The
boys are hot.
Everybody knows it's mid.
The boys are hot. It's not mid. Come on. Let's be honest.
It's the Yankees.
If you're not a Yankees fan, it's not mid.
It's mid.
All right, Miguel Cabrera. Boston still milking their 2008 championship. If they win it all this year, people in Boston might be the biggest demonstration since the Townsend acts were passed.
Well, listen, they'll be dumping tea off the harbor in there, man. It's going to be a good time. And look, I know the Celtics have a trophy case as long as a Hogwarts corridor. But look, they haven't won one in a while. This is the core that they were going to win it with. Everybody's been on the Jason Tatum train since he was at Duke. Go out and finish it. Jaylen Brown, Finals MVP.
All right, Hands27 says, sick jacket, Blaine, I know. Sister Rick says, the Celtics were super hot in the fourth. It's like they saved the best for last.
Look, again, they've shown you they can get off the mat.
They went on one of the best 7-minute stretches we've seen all season, but they went on one of the worst 7-minute stretches they've had in the third. So they were able to overcome that, and they punched last.
They hit 10 shots in a row.
In the fourth?
10 in a row.
The Warriors went 7 minutes and some change of not making a shot.
I love that.
Look, I love that.
You can't do that.
Not the way you play defense.
No, well, the thing about like the people like the Warriors are actually pretty good on defense.
Sure.
Like
for their size,
for their size,
top 5 defense in the league.
Point, though, for their size. I mean, they're not the Celtics or the Heat.
Well, I do think getting Iggy back is going to help them. You see how you he's still a little banged up, but getting.
I would love to get paid just to show up for the finals, like Iguodala does. He'll probably end up winning MVP.
You know, one more thing I was going to say is, you know, we saw the Warriors threw everything they had at Doncic, right, and forced the Mavericks role players to hit big shots and beat them, which wasn't going to happen. I think they maybe thought the same thing here. As long as we can throw everything we have at Tatum and maybe even Tatum and Brown if possible, then we'll have everything covered. That's where Al Horford can step up and hit you, or even a Marcus Smart possibly.
Yeah, and Grant Williams in the corner.
Sure.
Again,
Clay's got to do more.
Clay does have to do more.
You got to do more.
Jalen outshined Clay.
I know you just came off a big injury. I know you did.
Well, he's been running around healthy, having good games.
But you got to do more. If you're still that guy, you got to do more.
That excuse is dead.
I agree.
Hey, if you like that content, go ahead and subscribe. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, String in a Cup. As long as you're listening, we appreciate you. Go subscribe now. It's Crane & Company.